it struck a chord with me, and I definitely wasn't gonna let him pay for my meal in front of my girl. And so I was just like, you know what? Yep, all right. And my girl, she didn't even trip. She was okay with the share steak thing. She was kind of like, I ain't really that hungry, no way.
You all spoke specifically about some of the programs that are happening on the South and West Side, and so much in the quote-unquote opportunity zones or formerly redlined areas where are older, right? So for our families specifically, where we have, you know, our aunts, our grandmothers, et cetera, who can afford, right, the renovations that you're talking about. Can you speak specifically to the programs that you know of that can help those who are on fixed incomes keep their homes in some of these areas that are being invested in from folks outside the state? And Jemal, could you specifically speak to how you developed your mindset and vision around the property for each bill?
Yeah, and so as far as with my mindset, I don't know if anybody ever had a friend that ever played professional sports or just had a bunch of money, but one of my college teammates, he actually did get drafted. And so I had the opportunity, I call it a blessing and a curse. I had a blessing and a curse to be able to be around him. And when he made it to the league and I saw the way he was living, I saw how he was just broke with me in college and he didn't have no money to do anything. And all of a sudden he got drafted, then had all this money, and I saw how he was taking care of his family. And I was never the type of person that was like, hey, let me leech off of you or let me, take care of me too. Here it is. I had a fiance at the time, and I think this was the day that it really struck a chord with me. We all went out to eat, and he just got with a female he just met. And she was literally showing off her Louis Vuitton bag, and he just bought her that bag. But they went and they had like these elaborate steaks. I'm talking about it cost it was crazy. They was just ordering all this stuff. And remember, I was a police officer. I was making $1,200 every 2 weeks. The steak they ordered was like my light bill, gas bill, and the purse that he bought her was literally like what I made in 3 months. And when she was just ordering whatever she wanted to order off the menu, and I seen how they were looking, how they were living, and I was so embarrassed, dog. I had my girl that I've been with since high school, and I couldn't even, we had to we had to share a steak. Y'all laughing. But we had to share a steak. I was like, nah, I can't, never again. This dude just met her. I was in love with this girl since we was 15 years old. And it struck a chord with me. It struck a chord with me, and I definitely wasn't gonna let him pay for my meal in front of my girl. And so I was just like, you know what? Yep, all right. And my girl, she didn't even trip. She was okay with the share steak thing. She was kind of like, I ain't really that hungry, no way. I was like, let me go ahead and marry this girl because she know how to play the role. But man, I could hear her stomach growling. I could hear it. I was hungry. But yet, I was like, so to get to the point, I literally got back to Chicago and I wrote down what's the cost of us. I wrote down how much does it cost to maintain our lifestyle. And then I said I was going to attach a building. At that time, it was $5,000. I went and had a plan where I was going to buy enough real estate that it was going to, once I paid off the mortgages, it was going to bring us $5,000, and that $5,000 was going to cover our lifestyle. But I still said, okay, that's going to make it where if I get fired from my job, I can still live this life. It wasn't until I came up with what's the future cost of us. So I took my boy that was playing in the league, and I was like, okay, he got a 10,000 square foot house. I want a 15,000 square foot house. How much that costs? So then we came to Hyde Park, we walked around, we got with real estate brokers, found out how much those houses cost. I broke down the mortgage and said, okay, the mortgage to this house only costs $5,000. How many properties will it cost for me to buy in Inglewood to get $5,000 to cover this mortgage, to live in Hyde Park? So then I went and started buying properties in Inglewood, and then all of a sudden, once I paid the mortgage, I made enough money to now get this house in Hyde Park. So I literally created this lifestyle so that I never would feel this way again. And now, I live in a 20,000 square foot house. So crazy. Now, all my children, I got so much, I ran the race so hard that all my kids got trust funds. Ever since each one of my children were born, I got buildings where I take the money, because I stopped running out of things to buy. So I started buying buildings, and then they take the net proceeds from the building and then put it into an investment account for each one of my kids from the day they were born. And then once those accounts got so large, I started putting money to the side for my grandkids. And my oldest daughter is 18 years old. She bet not have no kids for at least the next 10 years. So I just literally, I had that mindset of getting ahead of my future. A lot of people create vision boards for their life, but they don't even know how much the vision costs. Damn. So I went in front of my future, and I went and got the actual money first for my future costs. And now I am living in my future. There's nothing I can't buy, do, or have.